Morning, Foxes. How the devil are you today? How's your weekend been so far? Well, you know what day it is. It's Sunday. It's 9:30 a.m. So it's time for the famous Foxes Aftermath show run by the fans for you fans out there. Your opinion really matters even more. I keep saying that even every single week, but this week, even more. Get those comments in. Come on, let's get going. It's kickoff time. Come on, you Foxes.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, Andy, I will agree with you on that. Where is our effing manager? It's 2 weeks now. Everyone has been saying, oh, it was only a couple of days last week. It's only 5 days after the wins we got relegated. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll be okay. It sounds like James Madison's tweet, to be honest. Oh, we'll be fine. Not a problem. It's 2 weeks today since we got relegated, and the club hasn't got a Scooby-Doo what they are doing. I know people might think, oh, there's no need to worry, but we need a manager. We need a manager to get in, get these players in, because there is a lot going. On that note, I've got a couple of right reprobates with me this morning. Young Reedy. Hello, Reedy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And we've got Tom that's gone back to the future a little bit today. Hello, Tom. How are you, pal?
Oh, good, thanks, lads. There we go. But
you know what? I love that. I see. Just on one point, lads, we're all wearing black. I'm wearing black because I've got the ump. Reedy's wearing black because he doesn't want to wear the blue. And Tom, you've gone back into the past. Any particular reason you've gone back into the past with that black shirt, pal?
Not sure. There's certain rumours going around that it could be a kit again for this season.
I would love it if you said Alliance of Leicester on it, but that doesn't exist anymore, does it?
I was going to say that is proper old school. I'm surprised it even fits, mate, to be honest here. It's a bit snug.
I bet it is. It's a bit, yeah, it looks a bit tight there in certain places. Your shoulders have got a bit bigger, pal, haven't they?
Yeah, all those muscles, mate. It's hard.
Right, read it. We're going to start on the big point yesterday in the news. Ex-Leicester, well, he's not quite ex-Leicester player, not till July the 1st. Youri Tielemans going to Villa. What kind of ambition does that show by Youri Tielemans, considering what he said when he didn't want to sign the contract 2 years ago?
Well, I've said that it's a fall from grace for his career anyway. For me, because he was meant to go to the Arsenal. He's meant to be the next big thing for a midfielder. And since then, he's dropped off massively. We got relegated with him and it's on his CV. And now he's going to a conference. Is it Conference League Villa? So
yeah, it's Conference League, isn't it?
For me, it's a step up for him.
Europa League, European Conference League.
Yeah. So yeah. It's a step up, obviously, because we're relegated, but it's not the biggest step up for him, is it? For me, if we were in the Premier League, it probably would just have been basically a sidestep, I guess, in certain ways.
Tom, Patrick said, look at Draper, Grayson, Joe Chim, they all failed at Villa. What's your view? Do you think it's more a sideward step? Is it because no one else came in for him? Roma, AC Milan, Real Madrid, no big boys really came in for him?
I think it's basically that. I think no big club came in for him. He's happy in the Midlands by the sounds of it with his family here, and easiest place to go, isn't it, really? He doesn't have to move home. He doesn't have to move family up and route them across the whole of the country to go, Newcastle or, Manchester or anything like that. None of them came in for him. So the easy option, well, Villa. And I can imagine the agents were straight on to Villa, probably March, April time going, no one's come in yet. What do you fancy having Tielemans next season at your club? He's interested. I said it before, the last 18 months he's been absolutely dire in my view. He hasn't been anywhere near the player he was. But if you look at it at Monaco, he did the same at Monaco, mate, to get a move. He didn't play well. He then got the loan out what he wanted to Leicester. Suddenly he was a world beater at Leicester again, and we paid the 40 million to get him to us. And then 18 months ago, the whole thing started really. Play hardball, don't want to sign new contracts, starts putting in bad performances. I mean, back in the day, mate, I think me and you were both saying, manager were going, you're not signing a new contract, go on then, off to the reserves, off to the under-21s, you're not playing for me this season. The problem is player power is too strong now. The players know that they're on such big wages, the club won't threaten to drop them. Where beforehand, God, players would have been straight in the under-21s and then 2 days later would have signed a brand new contract and would have been playing again because they don't want to sit in the under-21. So player power is scary.
Yeah, friends of the show, Gallagate Shots, cheers for watching. Big Newcastle fans. Just a quick on Newcastle, why are you watching Gallagate Shots? According to the form, you've only got 75 million to spend this summer because of financial fair play reasons. Welcome to our boat, pal. Welcome to ours. Seems like a big clear out this summer. Don't think it's a fall from grace for Youri Tielemans. He damaged his reputation by downing tools since this. I think it's longer than December, to be honest. But it's a decent move for him. Reedy, is it really a decent move for him just because of European football and he wanted Champions League football? Reedy?
Well, it's difficult because if obviously a few years ago we were expecting us to be top 6 and they weren't getting anywhere near that, were they? So it's kind of completely switched around and we're down. Now we're down and out and they're high up in Europe. So again, it probably is a massive step up in the where clubs are at the moment. But like I say, a few years ago, it was nowhere near the same.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of rumours about players. You've had the 6 or 7 leaving, haven't you, Tom? There's Mendy, Amati, Soyuncu, Youri. The best player ever, Ryan Bertrand, has left. I'm ever so disappointed he's gone. I mean, we certainly got our money's worth out of him.
That performance at QPR away, mate, pre-season was phenomenal.
Evans is going. Well, he played well in the Community Shield, didn't he? He did play well in the Community Shield on his debut, and then he just went downhill from there. Evans looks like he's signing a new contract. And then this week we've heard Faze could be leaving, Maddison to Spurs, Barnes to West Ham, Castagna to Arsenal, Ricky P going to Porto, KDH. Even Luton are looking at KDH, and then Nacho and Ndidi could go. Tom, what's going on, pal? What is happening? Tell me, boy.
Where do you start, mate, with that lot? Timmy Castagna to Arsenal as well. Look, I've always said one thing and one thing only. I only want people to pull that on and play for that badge if they want to be here. If they don't want to be here, go. It doesn't fuss me about a player. Like I say, the saying goes, the name on the back is bigger than the print on the front, mate. The club badge is more than any other player. Name on the back.
Tom, turn round. Name on the back. Does anybody remember that name on Tom's back? Back in, what was it, 2003, Tom?
Yeah, that would have been the year.
Does anybody else please have that name on their Sorry, Tom. Go on. Sorry, mate.
No, nobody will have that name. I don't even know why I even got it. I was very young and naive, and it didn't work out very well. Let's put it that way. I've got some good names. I've got some good shirts with some random names on it. I think I've got Jason Wilcox on my shirt. I've got Arne Gunnar Larkson on the back of the shirt, Gunnar Larkson.
I'm glad you've changed opinion on players for the last 20 years, Tom, compared to what it was 20. I wouldn't want you to be on Leicester Fan TV 20 years ago, mate.
But no,
what? Sorry, you were saying name on the back of the front of the shirt.
Name on the back shirt is name bigger than the net club badge, basically, in my view. And if they want to go, by all means, go. We have got to now get a squad mentality like Burnley, that players want to be at that football club and fight for that badge. They want to play for the manager. And if you look at Burnley now, they're already back in pre-season. They're back in pre-season already. Man City haven't finished season. Burnley are back in. You done? Thanks, mate. There's my little helper. 1 minute, I'll get you one. But yeah, it's a tricky situation. The club won't be held to ransom for my view, as in players that don't want to be here. But I think the biggest thing clubs got to do is work with his squad around to make it bigger. You want a chocolate one? 1 minute.
Daddy daycare. Yeah. Reading, Gallagate Shots have answered that. Says, think we'll see similar happen with Maddison. A move to Spurs is similar to a move to Villa at the minute. I think he's quite right. It's a bit of a sideward step. I know we've gone down, but Spurs, Villa, it's about the same kind of level. I agree with that. Villa will have a great season next year. Not sure Newcastle will push for James Maddison with that price, especially if they haven't got that much money. Do you think it's Villa and Spurs? Villa will have a great season, or do you think because of European football, they're going to struggle like we struggled when we went to in Europe?
I honestly think Europe will hinder them because, again, they've got a good manager now. Well, from the likes of it anyway, because they've done well since he's been in. But I do think Europe's going to kill them because they're not going to have the depth that we did. Like I say, the same as us, we didn't have the depth to cover ourselves with. So even Yuri going in there, I don't think it's going to change much with their midfield because, again, you've got the likes of Jacob Ramsey, who, as much as a decent player, once they lose their first squad, they don't really have too much as a backup. So, again, with the Maddison part of it as well, going to Spurs, for me, why the hell are you doing that? Why?
Oh, yeah.
If Kane and Son goes, yes, you might be the main man, but it's not like you're going to get anything from it, are you?
Yeah. I can't pronounce your name. Sorry. Everyone knows that I struggle with names. You don't fancy the badge, they should face the door as soon as possible. It's true, though, Tom, isn't it? If they don't want to play for the club, it's same as Soyuncu. I do not get Soyuncu. He's good enough to play for a team that could possibly win the Champions League next year and win the Liga, but he can't get in a struggling Leicester team.
But that wasn't Soyuncu, mate. I think if you asked Soyuncu straight, he wanted to play for the football club. He would, and I think he would have stayed. I generally think he would have signed a contract last season and stayed. But the way after that, especially that Tottenham game when Rodgers threw him under the bus for the second goal, saying, well, Soyuncu should have gone through his man and won the ball and shouldn't have backed out and bottled it. That was the end of him, as in not for Soyuncu's side of it, but from Rodgers, who basically said, well, you won't play for me again. And he didn't. And then he brought him in against Man City for a one-off game at home.
Chucked him in the stupid, massive game, yeah.
And then he didn't play again until later on the season when obviously Brendan had gone by a couple of cup games. And I generally feel that Cags didn't want to go. But on the note, the way he'd been treated by the club, by the board, by the manager, that the manager got the back in and, don't play Soyuncu. He would have said why. The board would have probably been answering why the questions why Soyuncu not playing. So
in the summer about Soyuncu, I got a message off someone says you won't believe who is after Soyuncu. This was last summer, and I won't say who it was, but it was Atletico Madrid were after him even in the summer, last summer, even before he had a bust up with Rodgers, and he wanted that move. So I think something must have happened during the summer, and he wanted to go. But Atletico stuck to the guns, and they've got the man. And I keep going on about Brendan Rodgers all the time, and it has to be. You have to lay the blame at someone's door, and I think it's him. Or would you go higher, Tom? Would you go higher than Brendan Rodgers?
I think there is blame higher at the club than just Brendan, in my view. You know, Brendan came out with that statement after the FA Cup defeat, saying that the squad needs a rebuild. Now the board must have known then that there was no money to spend in the summer, surely. So why didn't the board go to Brendan, mate? You've got to stop going on about this rebuild. You need to stop talking about rebuild. We have no money for a rebuild in the summer. We're at financial fair play brink. We can't afford to go and spend splashing the cash. If a player goes, you can bring maybe 1, 2 in, but you ain't going to be getting 8, 9 players to the door the way Brendan was talking about. So the club has to take that thing. I think because the club left it so long to make that statement, I can imagine Rodgers had gone to Soyuncu, Vestergaard, other players that he was like, right, you're not good enough, you're going to be out the door in the summer. So don't worry, you'll get your move. Bang, 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 bang. Rodgers then comes in first day of pre-season, sits down and gets told, there's no money for a refresh, mate. You got to work with what you got. He's then going to go back crawling to players like Soyuncu, Vestergaard and go, yeah, I said you could go. No, that's not going to happen. So you're just going to be a backup player and all you're going to do is sit on the bench. What does that say to a player, to me? One, the players have no faith in the ability of the chairman and the board of directors to put a clear message across to the squad that there's no refresh. This is never going to happen. But it also tells me there was no clear instruction to the manager to say this kind of stuff, because you're then asking players to do a complete U-turn to go, oh, so now I've got to actually stay and play under a manager who's basically saying he doesn't want me here and doesn't want to play me. So look, I don't blame Soyuncu. And I think he would have generally stayed if the board had been open and honest from the start and if he knew he was going to play. But so Rodgers chucked him under a bus. The board made massive mistake by saying players could leave. Well, Rodgers saying they can leave without knowing that the full detail. And it just ended up in a complete mess at the beginning of the season. That's why the season's ended up where it is.
Reedy, do you agree with Roy's comments here about our problem was not replacing Schmeichel when he left? Or, again, do you think he'd had a bit of... Because there was... You hear little things what Schmeichel says, saying he didn't want to leave the club let him go. Do you think that was a Brendan Rodgers thing? And how much of an influence in that changing rooms had we lost at the beginning of the season with Schmeichel going?
Yes, we lost a lot of control and captaincy in there with his leadership role and whatnot. But the only point I'd say I don't think we missed him as much is I do, and this is probably everyone going to go moaning at me now, but I do think since when we won the league till last year, I did think he started going down, I guess, in his qualities. Yes, he was still a brilliant shot stopper and all that, and I'm not saying he was awful by the time he left us, but I think because he was getting older as well, he started losing his quality of what he had when we won the league and when we were in the Champions League. Because I watched some of them Champions League games back, and he was insane.
Yeah, Tom. Talking of the Champions League, did you see Edison's 2 saves last night?
Oh God!
Unbelievable! That was a keeper on the top of his form. But Andy Meadows has picked up on a point that you've made before about Schmeichel dropping in for his 150th consecutive game. Tom,
exactly. Bang out of order, mate. Bang out of order from Rodgers. That was again Rodgers trying to be the big bollocks and big statement. I can drop players when I want to drop players. It was disrespectful to a player that had done so much for this club, and then you drop him and say, yeah. Well, Ward's going to get a few games. Well, he got 1 game at Watford, and then he was dropped, and Casper came straight back in against Norwich. It was a statement by Rodgers trying to say, I'm the manager. I will play who I want to play when I want to play them, not players that they play because who they are. I don't really say about performance levels dropped off, but I still say that Casper kept us in more games.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to deny that.
No. When there's more points than he did, I think the problem is Casper's levels got so high very quickly after that, winning that league title for 2 good seasons. And when things do drop off as a goalkeeper, you notice them more. One thing I always say, people say about his distribution, he's never had good distribution. That was Casper's weak link. And as soon as we started to play out from the back, you could tell he wasn't comfortable with it. And just standard goalkeeper who likes to put his foot through the ball and get rid of it. He was never a goalkeeper that comes down and gets crosses. I
think it was a situation between it was either world class where he puts a ball straight through there. I think I remember having a ball straight through the middle of Arsenal, straight to Vardy, and he scores a goal, or it goes off the pitch. Either way.
But the difference with that, mate, is he can kick it long.
And put it in the net against Doncaster one game.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, you know. But
was it Doncaster?
Yeah, Doncaster way he basically panned the ball into his own net. Yeah, in a bit. Swimming pool. That's Jamie's swimming pool.
Swimming pool? It's that hot in Redditch, is it, Tom?
Yeah, it's that hot. It was 30 degrees yesterday, mate. It's lovely here.
Right, I bet Reedy, you're sweating, ain't you, pal?
Oh, I can't stand this heat, mate. I can't be arsed.
But yeah,
you want to come away on holiday? Anyway, hold on. Locks has finally got out of bed. Let's just bring him in. Better late than never, Locks. You got your Leicester onesie on, I see.
Yeah, my Sunday outfit's here.
You sound a bit rough, pal. Where you been last night? You been on the gin again?
I was in Camden, which didn't get back till late. So yeah, I'm a bit rough, but couldn't miss the aftermath show, could I?
No one can miss the aftermath show. Anyway, Locks, we've talked about the Villa situation, Tielemans. I'm glad you've come on because I don't know whether you broke it, but Tom sort of got the new shirt on, sort of. He's gone back to the future. So you put that on Twitter. What do you think? Is that going to be the real kit, pal? Similar to what Tom's got on?
Yeah.
What do you think to it?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get in trouble by the club for saying this, but we'll see. No, I kind of accidentally predicted it. I just made like a little concept, and I had a couple DMs on Twitter last week saying, "You're spot on, that's right." And I thought, surely not. You know, I was just doing it because I was bored. And a few people said it was going to be the new kit. And last night, when I was on the train home from London, I had another DM, and that photo now that's going around online, that's what they sent me. So I thought I was kind of seeing things at first, but no, that's definitely the new away kit. There's rumours that FBS might not be there because the photo shoot apparently was with and without the sponsor. So I don't know if that's going to be removed or not. But yeah, I think it's a beauty. I know Reedy's not a fan, but I think it's beauty. I think it's amazing.
I love it. Just one thing though, the boss has put a comment in here. I've got to put his comments in, else I'll get the sack. Just spend 1,300 quid on 4 season tickets with no idea who the manager is, which players will be here. Club is asking a massive amount from the fans, if you ask me, and giving us nothing as yet. Are we all idiots? No, we're not idiots. We want to support the club. It's as simple as.
I do understand what he means, though. I do understand what he means. We haven't got a clue what's happening. So why should we? And they're asking us to do it before what, the 15th? So it's like you put our money there and then watch it. And if it all goes crumbling down, it's like, thank you for. I know we're meant to be supporting them and whatnot, and we are going to either way, even if it does crumble. But it's like, at least give us something to give our money to, I guess.
I still think we've got reasonable prices compared to some of the season ticket prices I've seen, like Sheffield Wednesday, £600 for an adult, or something cheap as adults like 530 or 560 quid. So I don't mind at 430 for my season ticket, mate. If, even with us going down, I still think it's reasonably priced, and they haven't they haven't changed it or anything.
I mean, there must have been loads of people. Reedy, have you renewed your ticket?
Mm-hmm.
Tom, have you renewed your ticket?
As always.
I would as well. There must have been loads of people out there that have renewed the ticket. Locks, I know you're on the waiting list, aren't you, for a season ticket? I think, aren't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you get 4 extra games as well, don't you, this year? So it's not a bad deal.
But you're on the waiting, so you would renew it, wouldn't you, pal? If you were there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think some people have to, because if they don't renew it and Leicester go back up first time, they're going to struggle to get one. So I think if you want to make sure that you've got a ticket, for the next few years, I think you need to renew it. You need to just keep renewing it, because if you don't renew it, you're going to lose it, and then you're going to regret that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. See, I think Aggie was about first in the queue for renewals. I think he was on the phone well before it. But it's just being fans, isn't it? Even though, like Phil says, the club's up the creek without a paddle at the minute, but fans will support the club no matter what. Players come and go, managers come and go, but fans support the club no matter what.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Locks, what if, like, you've only just got out of bed, we talked about the Euro situation, and we sort of mentioned some of the players that might be leaving. What's going to happen? We haven't got a manager. It's 2 weeks since. Surely we need a manager to get players to come in, and the transfer window Tuesday or Wednesday, is it? I think I'm not 100% sure. It's this week sometime, isn't it? Surely, Locks, we need to have someone in before that window happens. Yeah,
because we've already seen 1 or 2 rumours, haven't we, about like Connor Cody and Tom Kearney, but. What if the new manager that does come in doesn't want these two? I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the manager if we really have waited for this Man City coach. That's why there's been a delay. I don't know, but there won't be any incomings, you'd imagine, until there's a manager there, and it's probably part of the interview process as well. Part of the interview process is probably the potential new manager saying what type of players that they would like to bring in. So it's just whether Rudkin's happy to give the power over to the manager, or whether it's going to be down to Rudkin and down to the recruitment team. I think really you need to bring in a manager you're going to trust, and then let him bring in the signings that he thinks will take us back up. I think that's what you need to do, and obviously we can't do that at the minute because there's no manager. So yeah.
Tom, would you take Dean Smith?
At the moment, with what I've seen, yes. Nothing wows me. Not even the Man City coach wows me. He's not had any managerial experience in any division of football, and you're going to get a coach in again. You need someone who knows that division inside out. For me, we've seen it. Look, Vincent Kompany was a long shot for Burnley. That could have gone hit or miss for them. It was a hit because he had the scouting background. He had the players he knew he could go and get that he knew would destroy that league, and he went and got them all in. He brought wingers, he brought strikers, he brought midfielders, he brought defenders. He built a team that he knew would get out of that division. It was a hit for them, but we could do that without Man City one and end up with a load of Man City, not bad really, B teamers and reserve teamers, and have the same impact. But he could be the complete opposite. That he comes in, he doesn't get anything out of the club, and then you're back to square one again. at the moment, with all the names being linked, I would go with Dean Smith. At least he knows the group of players who's there. He knows the training ground. He knows what he's got to work with. It's not fresh and it's not new, but at least then hopefully he's got an idea what he's coming into and what he needs to get before we start the season on the 4th or Friday the 4th or the 5th of August.
We're bound to be on TV on Friday the 4th.
I think we are. I've already said it. I guarantee will be the Friday night game.
We're the biggest, us in Leeds. I know Southampton have been in the Premier League a while, and we're one of the biggest teams to be in that division, I think. Everyone will be the one everyone wants to take a swipe at and try and beat us. Reedy, Nick Moore says, I'd take Smith over Gerrard and Lampard. Would you? Would you take Smith over, or would you rather go for the new bloke, this Enzo, whatever his name is?
We spoke about it the other show, and we said that in my opinion, I would have took Dean Smith when we first got relegated, but within 2 weeks now, he obviously isn't the first man on their list. And like I think Locke said that you basically like, well, I don't want the job then if you don't want me as the first choice manager. So for me, my personal opinion, I would want Parker just because he's took 2 teams up. He knows what he's doing. Yes, people have said to me, oh, but then you want him in the Premier League, and I said probably not. But if you gave him a year contract and say get us up and you stay on for another year and see how you do, then I'd take it. But I don't think we should be looking for a long-term manager at this moment in time.
I think you need to be stability, Tom, don't you? Surely now in the Championships we need stability more than a short-term manager.
This is for me now. This is with the way the rebuild of the squad. How many players are leaving? How many players are coming in? How many players can leave next year on a free transfer? This is, for me, a 4 to 5 year project for any manager coming in on the basis that you've got to sort this team out to hopefully try and challenge in this division, but also then try and convince players to maybe stay if we do get up, who haven't played regularly, like Nacho. Then you've got to rebuild for the Premier League if you do get into that part. But if you don't go straight back up, you then got another situation where do you build players around and who's going to want to come into the football club in the second season down there in the Championship?
That Jamie, sorry, I think what Tom said there and what Reedy said, I think that's what Reedy meant though, is about when he said, you need to look short term. I don't think we should be looking now at a manager that could build a squad and take us up in the next 3 years. I still think the priority needs to be a manager that can take us up first time. I think that's what Reedy's saying. I just feel like Scott Parker probably does give you, just from history. I mean, he's done it twice, right? He's done it twice in recent years. He's taken a team up. For me, the priority is, getting a manager in and getting players in that will take you up first time. Because if we have to spend another year in the Championship, financially, like Tom said, the players that you can probably. Because we can probably still, we've probably still got a little bit of pull in terms of players. Because some players will think, well, yeah, they're in the Championship, and so are 23 other teams. But it's Leicester City. They just come down. They've got a very, very good chance of going straight back up. So whereas we probably lose that pull if we then spend another year and another year in the Championship. So I just think we need to get up first time, and Scott Parker probably does give you a chance of that because he's done it twice, just from history.
The only thing I can say about that is when Nigel Pearson came in after Sven, it took us 2.5 seasons. Yeah. Before, I know we lost to Cardiff, did we? No, I can't remember.
Cardiff before, no. So Cardiff was before he went to Hull. He then came back, and it was a season and a half, basically.
But it took 2.5 seasons to get back up. Do you think as fans, though, lads, they'll be willing to wait another 2-3 seasons to get back up?
No, they won't. No chance.
So what I'm going to say is, did we have the quality that on paper? And I know we can't say that now because we got relegated. But on the paper, do we have the quality we have now? Was it better than when we had the quality when Pearson first came back in charge? I don't think we did we?
No, because it was two different eras. It's 10 years ago. The standard of football was a lot different back then.
Well, they were overpriced back then as well. They were overpaid because we brought in some absolute tripe, didn't we, when Sven came in?
Well, to be honest, they're overpaid now.
That's what I mean.
The only good thing, though, Tom, is with these 6 or 7 players going, we've saved 600,000 plus a week.
Yeah, what I was going to say was to Jamie's point about the two teams and the quality. There was two different mindsets as well for me there, and that's point that this season we've lost completely since Casper's gone. You had a team under Pearson that was a band of brothers. There was a togetherness. They didn't have loads of quality in that team. There was probably better players in the different teams in that season when we came up as champions. But what we had was a work ethic, a drive, a hunger, a mindset that even when things were down, that we would not chuck the towel in. It worked to get us out of the Championship. It worked to keep us in it. It worked to win the Premier League. Because even though Pearson left, that mindset was still engraved in that team because Shakespeare was still there. Walshy was still there. You look at this team that come down under Rodgers, that mindset's completely gone. And for me, the Championship isn't all about mindset. You can have as much quality as one, but unless that togetherness of the team and there's a mindset that you're all pulling in the same direction, you don't get out of the Championship by just having quality players. We could, even if we'd kept Tielemans, Madison, there'd be no guarantee that we would have come up, for me, in my view, because that mindset was already in that we're defeated every single week. So, look, you can have quality players, but at the right team around and mindset, you don't get out of the division. So
fair enough.
It's like Mr. Six-Sitter said, Craig Hendrick, we now need a strong manager who won't take any crap from either players or the board, which is true. When we had Nigel, and I keep talking on about Nigel Pearson, he was one of my favourite ever managers, but he took no stick whatsoever. No one messed with him apart from Marcin Wasilewski. He was the only one that he was scared of. But Nigel Pearson took no stick whatsoever. And the players respected him. And we need that. Not saying we need him, but we need that kind of manager now.
There's not that many managers now, really, so that we've been linked with that I like. I don't think I like that.
Because most managers pussyfoot around all these pampered, bloody £100 million players that don't give a damn about the club. We need someone in there that can come in, put the foot down and say, right, my way or no way. Simple
Scott Parker would do that. Scott Parker would do that, in my opinion. I think he would. My
only reason why I would say he wouldn't is when he came up in the Premier League report with Bournemouth and Fulham. I'm pretty sure every time he lost the likes of Liverpool and whatnot, he just went, we're not good enough for it. We're not good enough for that. Yeah, you can't be saying that as a manager for your club. You can't be. And that's the only reason I don't want him, because he basically just says we're not good enough. But that's the only reason I'd say he won't be that strong in the dressing room.
Yeah. It's a good. That's what Phil said, Jamie. There, that was what I was on about when we said come up first time, because we've still got when we come up first time. When this season now coming up, obviously we're selling Madison, we're probably selling Barnes, we've lost Tielemans and all this, blah blah blah. But then if we're in the Championship for another year or two, we've then really got not many assets, have we? We've lost all our big assets, even though the big hitters are leaving this summer. We'll still have some there, some assets there, even Dewsbury, if he stays, he's not worth 50 million, but he's still worth a decent amount of money to a Premier League team. So the longer we stay in the Championship, the more we'll lose, these big players. And
Championship for good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but like Neil says, you've got to have the players with a good physicality in the Championship. And we haven't got that. It showed that. We had no fight or anything or physicality to stay in a Premiership relegation battle. And that's what we need, 100%, to get out of it.
I think we did. I just think they didn't bloody play. Soyuncu and, Suter barely played.
We had the players when we're in a good situation, but when we're in a bad situation, we couldn't fight ourselves out of a bloody paper bag, to be honest.
We left it too late, and if we played how we did in that last game of the season against West Ham, in every single game, we would have been fine, mate. Simple as that. That's how I look at it. If we played like we did against West Ham for the other 37 games, that fight, hunger and the desire to actually try and win a football match, we've been fine this season. I truly believe there have been worse teams in there, but we didn't do it on enough occasions, and to lose 22 games, in my view, did probably deserve to get relegated.
Yeah,
because of that stat alone.
Yeah. It just weren't good enough in all round. Really, the whole season. I think we had the players to do the job, but we just weren't good enough.
I do think the physicality will be there next season with the likes of Suter, and if FaZe stays in and whatnot, there is some strength there. And that I know that's only the back line, but when it comes to that, you've got Dewsbury all in midfield if he stays. You've got Iheanacho who does fight for the ball at times if he stays as well. So there is still quality and there's still strength and physicality there for me. If there's people that we think are staying. So
Rightio. Oh, Locks, don't make us all tired, pal.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, I tried to hide that
Just
then.
before we go, no, you didn't, pal. I heard you over the microphone straight away. Just before we go, just before I let you go, Locks, just sum it up very quickly. What you think of the situation at the minute, pal?
With what? There's many situations. The
club in general, pal. The club in general.
Yeah. I think, at the minute we're in limbo. I think the club had the opportunity to end, to make a statement really early on. They had the opportunity to make a statement, within the first week or whatever, or even the first 10 days, and say, look, all right, we've made a decision. Dean Smith's no longer the manager. This is the new manager, or Dean Smith will be our manager, and we just haven't done that. And we saw the statement from Top a few days after relegation where it was a big statement. And I think one of the things he said was, we're taking the feedback on board. And at the minute, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't, because if you really did take the feedback on board and do what the fans wanted, you would have put us out of our misery and just let us know who was going to be taking the club forward. And we don't know that yet. So, I hope it's in the next couple of days. Like you said, transfer window opening soon. I hope they just kind of, put all their eggs in one basket, decide on a manager, commit to him, and go from there. But yeah, it's difficult at the minute to even get excited. I think once it's done, once the manager's done and we can start looking at the play, I think fans will then start to actually get excited for the season, the championship season. But it's hard to do that now because we just don't know which direction we're heading in. So.
I mean, yeah, Locks. I agree on some of them points, but I'm going to let you go so you can go back to bed, pal. Looks like you need a few hours, Kit.
I am. Yeah, thank you very much.
All
cheers.
Right, mate. I'll speak to you later, pal. Cheers, Locks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Tom, he was mentioning about being excited for the championship. Are you excited for the championship?
No, I was just doing the silence is deafening from the club, be honest with you there. Yeah, excited. Definitely know it can happen. Definitely got a feeling it can be a positive season. But we need to know probably within the next 5 to 10 days what is going on for the manager front. It can't drag any longer. Phil put it in earlier that the 14th transfer window opens. We need a manager in before that. Keep going on about players and people moan that I keep saying other teams, but Bristol City have signed 3 players already this season. Don't know much about them. One of them is half-decent defender called QPR. But they're signing players and we're sitting still. We're in a time warp. And like I said, the silence is deafening from the club at the moment. What isn't doing the club any favours from the fan point of view. Something needs to be said quite quickly because they keep saying they're taking on board, well, we're this, that and the other. But the club, I don't know how I didn't see this happening 18 months ago when the fans could see this happening 18 months ago after that Forest defeat that we were in a mess. So, look. Long way to go. Excited for season ahead. Always love a good season in the championship, so never get down about it. And
it's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while, but I'll never change it. I've seen this club in League One. I've seen it in the championship. I've seen some dross years in the championship for 3-4 years. I've seen some good times in the Premiership. I still follow this club, still follow Leicester, and we'll be back. But time will tell on how quickly it happens. But like I say, I think within the next 5 to 10 days, if we're not seeing any movement from the club on the manager front, then serious questions has to be asked about the senior management team and the directors. That why have we not got a manager in the door by now?
Well, yeah. All right, and Tom, we shall speak to you through the week, pal. You go and enjoy your daddy day there again.
I'm going to peel this off now.
Yeah, we won't look at that this time. I won't put you on screen while you're taking it off. We'll see you later, pal. Be good.
See you, mate. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Reader, last but not least, everyone loves you when you have a good, positive moment. Come on then, pal. Be positive for once.
I've said that I wasn't rushing to get a manager in. People know that. People are saying that we should be getting in the first man in the door. But I've now said that I'm going to give him till the day of the transfer window opens. We saw it with Company. He came in on the day of the transfer window last season and he smashed the league. So I'm going to give him till then. Like Tom said, so it's 3 days now, but If you do not see anything within 5 to 10 days, then I will start questioning it. That's enough time for the management to see what we need to do and get somebody in, because it's getting to the point now where if we don't get in somebody before the window, it's stupid, because we're letting people go without anyone backing them or saying that we want to keep you before they start leaving. So for me, I'll give them till the 14th for the transfer window to open, but if they don't get on before then, I will say that there's not. I don't know what we're doing, because that's basically it. But I will say, I am excited for the Championship. As much as it was gutting to see us get relegated, because I don't know, I had it in my head in some way that I kind of knew we were down already, so I didn't think it hurt as much. And I feel like I'm already excited for a new season and different leagues, a different league, a different stadium every weekend, isn't it? So
I'll agree on that, because I think we knew we were down. It didn't disappoint me as much. It was disappointing, but it didn't disappoint me as much. On that note, Reedy, we'll let you go and we'll see you through the week, pal.
Yep, no worries.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Great numbers, great comments, great guests. Bit of the riff-raff from the content team, so it's been great to have them on. I shall see you next week. It's ciao, ciao, adios, goodbye. Come on, you, Leicester.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.